Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very
Well,
much.
in the light of the limited time, I'll rush through some of the slides and concentrate on the meat of my presentation. Okay, so I will just rush this bit because I think that everybody knows that the world now is in disarray, characterized by the passing of the so-called post-World War II American unipolar moment, defined by the a disastrous war over Iraq and also Afghanistan, spending huge sums of money, blood and treasure, with very little showing for it, but also
Hello?
disrupting the order even further. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Sorry, yeah, sorry, Dr. Ploberger.
Sorry.
Yeah?
No, okay, now Dr. Leung,
Where is I don't know what's happened on my side. Okay.
it happens, but now Dr. Leung started his presentation. You also were out of time, so okay. So you know it's tricky. I mean, so I suggest please stay in line, stay in line, and
I mean,
we will have the possibility of adding something after the last presentation during the Q&A time. So thank you. I'm sorry for your problems, but it happens when you hold a hybrid conferences. So, but now Dr. Leung is presenting.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
at the end, sorry.
Thank
So
you.
please, Dr. Leung, go on.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your understanding. So there's characterized by the disastrous war over Afghanistan, Iraq, and Afghanistan, and also the weakening leadership over the war in Ukraine, and of course, with the rise of China, this balancing and confronting Americans' coercion and hegemony. You can also see that when Trump 2.0, when he resumes occupation of the White House, the first thing he did is signaling his intention to tear up the world order by wanting to occupy Greenland, making Canada the 51st state, renaming the Gulf of Mexico, and also withdrawing from the Paris Agreement and threatening withdrawing and weakening the functioning of the World Trade, of the World Health Organization, and so on. Not least, of course, his latest tariff war against the whole world, not only against adversaries like of China, his main existential threat, but also allies and friends, and even targeting some island in Antarctica inhabited but only by penguins. So you can see that, and of course, that the not so much in the news is his lapping huge levies on shipping on Chinese-made ships. Each ship is required to come up with a levy of something like $1 million per visit. And then not too far away down the line is a much talked after behind the scene of the so-called Mar-a-Lago Accord, introducing a 100-year bond, non-interest paying US treasuries, with the will to cutting down Americans' huge budget deficit in terms of interest payments. Now, of course, the world order is also characterized by the humanitarian disasters in Gaza, in Syria, with the regional players like Turkey and Israel trying to take advantage of the situation, with the United States not able to do anything, but rather seeing itself benefiting from the situation. And continuing to support Israel as the American body politics intertwined with the Jewish lobby. Again, China, of course, rattles the global order. For example, even the United States, more people are seeing the influence of China rising. its rare earth dominance is now threatening the United States, but also some of its Western allies, and the rise of the artificial intelligence in China, the DeepSeek, and the recent study by the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, finding that out of the world's leading 41 technologies, which define the third and the fourth and the fifth industrial revolution, China is leading in as many as 37 technologies. And then, of course, China's building its own space station rather from scratch, in spite of the fact it was excluded from the American space station right from the very start. Then the recent attempt to decouple from China, forcing allies, but also China's trading partners to decouple from China, is likely to be a pipe dream, because China is embedded in the world's the vast majority of the world's products. Even if the products are not marked made in China, China's embedded in it in terms of rare earths, in terms of components, and in terms of logistics, because the world's top 7 out of the top 11 container ports are in China. And then, of course, the whatever happens over Ukraine is likely to result in a temporary peace, freezing the Russians' occupation of Ukrainian territory, and then using the kind of North Korean formula. In other words, weakening the international convention of respecting a country's sovereignty. And of course, the Middle East is transforming. A historical rapprochement between Iran and Saudi Arabia has been brokered by China, and President Trump has just bombed Iran's nuclear facilities with dubious results, according to many observers. And of course, over the Gaza Strip, Israel is still continuing the expansion, not to mention the end of the age of oil, as Middle East countries are pivoting towards new technologies and so on. So you can see that there are so many paradigm shifts in the world: the fourth and fifth industrial revolution, the age of artificial intelligence, the age of
Dr. Leung, maybe you are facing some problem with the connection. I asked the other panelists, the audience online, if they are listening properly well, or they are perceiving some noise, some disrupted connection.
Yeah, I can hear some problems.
The same. I also heard some disruption now.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
the same here also.
Yeah, same.
Sorry,
No,
Dr.
nothing. I can't hear him.
Dr. Leung, it seems that you are some connection problems.
Really?
Yeah, now it's better. Now it's better. Yeah.
Well, can you see it?
Now it's
can you see
okay.
the visual?
It's okay. Resume the presentation. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm a little scared. So you can see the existing global institutions are not really fit for purpose. For example, the United Nations can't do anything about stopping all this turmoil. I've got to rush a bit, making for the loss of time. And what happened, for example, in the so-called the 40 years of peace achieved over the Congress of Vienna could be an example. And that implies a kind of accord of some of the world's leading powers so that they can agree on a modus operandi. So perhaps a more inclusive concert of powers is required for the 21st century. But then the most important mechanism is the United Nations Security Council. But the United States Security Council at the moment is degenerated into a talk shop with the five powers just guarding their own interests. Anything else that they would veto. Now, here are some of the suggestions. There are only 5 permanent members in the Security Council, but then they're formed after the Second World War, representing the winners of the Second World War. It doesn't reflect the distribution of power nowadays, especially the kind of balancing of the great power balancing after the especially after the unipolar moment has passed. So the suggestion is that perhaps France could give up its position. I'll explain later on, because France is unlikely to agree, and give up its position, to the inclusion of the European Union as a voting as a veto power wielding member. The European Union. So the European Union already includes France. Now, why retain the UK? Not just because the UK is in fact, the UK economy is smaller than France, but then the UK has the advantage of representing the Commonwealth. So the Commonwealth is still very influential. So with the representation of UK in the new Security Council, you have at least the
Dr. Leung, once again, we have problems in
Yes.
your presentation. It's almost impossible to understand a single word, but we can look at the slides, of course. No, I'm sorry, Dr. Leung, but we are no more able to hear a single word from you. We see the slides, but we can't hear you.
Really?
Okay, now you're back.
Can you hear me now?
Now, yeah. Thank you.
Oh dear. I don't know what. Well, I'm towards the end. So I also propose another membership, which is non-voting member of the Security Council, but they're permanent members, but they do not have a veto power. So the non-permanent members with no veto powers would include the NATO, G20, the ASEAN countries, the South American United Association for South America, and also the BRICS, as well as the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So these would be incorporated into the new Security Council, but without veto powers. So that, again, that would represent a better the rest of the world. In addition, there should be a permanent committee to address the crisis, so that they can talk about it. And there should be high-level representation to be sent from the permanent members as well as the non-permanent members, and also the veto power voting members. And they would meet regularly. There should be a permanent secretariat within the United Nations. But basically that means that There will be regular meetings between various representations in the permanent secretariat to talk about rising prices before they come to a head. And that's what happening. The failing of the Security Council is because there is the existing power structure doesn't represent the current reality, and there is a lack of balance, and there is a lack of mechanism to address issues before they come to a head. So my proposal outlined above hopes to address this issue, but this is unlikely to happen at the drop of a hat. But these are only ideas for further consideration. So I will end my presentation.